Ernie Racing News is back. Oh, shouldn't say the news part. Ernie Racing is back. Don't want to be censored from Canadian politicians. On Friday, the International Court of Justice ruled that Israel must cease its attack on Gaza and, quote, take all measures within its power to prevent and punish the direct and public incitement to commit genocide in relation to members of the Palestinian group in the Gaza Strip, end quote. This case was brought by South Africa in order to stop the attacks in Gaza that began after the October 7th attack by Hamas in Tel Aviv. But will Israel abide? Probably not, as long as they have allies in the United States. The U.S. has said that it will not change course based on this ruling because, quote, the president believes the approach we have been taking has been getting results, end quote. Pentagon spokesperson, John Kirby. Literally, John Kirby reminds me of Kirby's Wonderland, like just not as big of a balloon, said that the term genocide is, quote, unhelpful, and that there is no indication that that's going on.
ICJ has not dismissed the allegations against Israel with respect to genocide. They do believe that those allegations warrant further investigation and deliberation. So do you stand by the words that you used earlier this month to characterize those allegations, that they're meritless, counterproductive, and completely without any basis in fact whatsoever?
Yes, ma'am.
And what are you basing that off of if the UN's top court believes that there is a plausible risk of genocide? They're specifically directing Israel to prevent and punish the direct and public incitement to commit genocide, and again, have not...
It is not...
The fact of the matter, genocide, and again, have not...
It is not found that they are committing genocide.
They are not dismissing the case, and they do believe
they are committing genocide. We have no indication that that's going on, Sabrina. We just have no indication that they are deliberately trying to exterminate the people of Gaza.
Well, the ICJ specifically cited inflammatory statements that were made by Israel's defense minister referring to Gazans as human animals. The president of Israel saying the entire population of Gaza is responsible. Do you not see that as risking incitement?
Whoa, damn.
Things like that are certainly also counterproductive and unhelpful. No
Unhelpful, saying those words. That's very unhelpful.
question about that. But we haven't seen indications that the Israeli Defense Forces are getting up out of the rack every day, putting their boots on the floor and saying that their whole effort is to go exterminate the Palestinian people. They're trying...
This reminds me of Julian Assange. Oh my God, you have somebody telling truth and you put him in jail for years in jail. And we don't want to know the truth. No, there was no murders going on in Afghanistan, Iraq, and all previous wars. Nothing that wasn't a military target.
Trying to eliminate the threat that Hamas poses. I want to be very clear, and I know I've said this a million times, and you all are probably sick of me following up on this, but that doesn't mean that we excuse...
We do not have weapons, chemical weapons, in Ukraine. That is a bunch of malarkey. I repeat, we do not have chemical weapon facilities in Ukraine. Wait, but that was a lie. Because Victoria Nuland said under oath a week later that, we do have biological research facilities in Ukraine, and we're very worried the Russians are now going to take the information from that. Like, these guys are fucking clown. We're in a clown world, everybody. Clowns.
Any single innocent life lost. The right number of civilian casualties is 0, but there's no indication that we've seen that validates a claim of genocidal...
Did he just say the right number of civilian casualties is 0? But it's not 0. It's many, many thousands. So what?
Intent or action by the Israeli Defense Forces.
So here is the International Court of Justice, guys. Here is the actual PDF. Press release January 26, 2024. I mean, this is just happening right now. The application of the Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide in the Gaza Strip, South Africa versus Israel. The court indicates provisions measures. So just a quick look at it, synopsis. By 15 votes to 2, the State of Israel shall, in accordance with the obligations under the Convention of the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide in relation to Palestinians in Gaza, take all measures within its power to prevent the commission of all acts within the scope of Article 2 of this convention, in particular killing members of the group, B, causing serious bodily or mental harm to members of the group, C, deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or in part, and imposing measures intended to prevent births within the group. Next part, by 15 votes to 2, the State of Israel shall ensure with immediate effect that its military does not commit any acts described in points 1 above. And so yeah, it kind of just repeats itself over and over and over, but that is it. The U.S. also decided that aid to the United Nations Relief and Works Agency is unhelpful and cut aid that was intended for Gaza. Some European countries are doing the same after Israel accused some staff members of having been involved in the October 7th attack. According to a statement from the UN, quote, of the 12 people implicated, 9 were immediately identified and terminated by the Commissioner General of UNRWH, Philippe Lazzarini. 1 is confirmed dead, and the identity of the 2 others is being clarified. Here is on the unitednations.un.org, their January 28th statement by the Secretary General. The United Nations is taking swift action following extremely serious allegations against several UN relief and workers, staff members. An investigation by the UN's Office of Internal Oversight Services was immediately activated. So just as I mentioned earlier, it states any UN employee involved in acts of terror will be held accountable, including through criminal prosecution. Onward. Meanwhile, 2 million civilians in Gaza depend on critical aid from the UNRWA for daily survival, but UNRWA's current fundings will not be allowed it to meet all requirements to support them by February. So what is pretty much going on is somebody is trying to stop the aid. And that's why that's act of terror, right? Trying to stop the aid to civilians in need in a wartime war zone. Anyways, guys, it's 11:11, so I'm going to end this video. The war in Gaza, a little update. I'm sure, like all news that's controversial, I'm going to get a whole bunch of controversial comments. Marcel, why are you supporting these guys over these guys? And it's like, no. It's the military-industrial complex. Break it down. I have no ties to any of these groups. I'm just out here dirt biking in the desert, guys, reporting the actual news as it comes, right? So war is war. Civilians are dying in war. Somebody's on a conquest, sometimes not. Just got to look at the common sense of it. Do not support the military-industrial complex. That is all our tax dollars that we all work for, and our communist governments take all our money and send it to these, whether it's a proxy war, a cold war, or a hot war. And who dies? The civilians are dying, the men, women, and children. Just like in Ukraine, 1 million Ukrainian men dead for what? They could have had peace talks 2 years ago, and they would have been in a better position for peace talks than they are now, because now it's over. All of the men are dead, and now, of course, Putin is going to be claiming that area, which in the beginning was a special military operation to help the people of Donbass, if you know any of your history, because they wanted independence from Ukraine because they had genocide upon them by the Ukrainian military. Enough said. Look back to 2014. Look for the coup, guys. Look for the video of Victoria Nuland, talking about it, instigating it. This is Ernie Racing News. Over.